Now, what are the mysteries of impartation? Number one, impartations releases spirits and spiritual realities. Impartation is not just talk. It's not just laying on of hands. All of that will be useless except as when genuine impartation happens, spirits are transferred and spiritual realities are communicated. Deuteronomy 34 verse 9. And Joshua had the spirit of wisdom because Moses laid his hands upon him. Acts 19 verse 5 and 6. Paul met some believers in Ephesus. Have you received the Holy Ghost since you believed? They said, we have not as much as heard of the Holy Ghost. All we know is the baptism of John. And he said, after Paul taught them, he laid his hands on them and they received the Holy Ghost. So impartation is a mystery for the transference of spirits and spiritual realities. 2 Timothy 1 verse 6. This charge give I thee, son Timothy, that you may fan to flame the gifts of God that were installed in you by the laying on of my hands. Every time impartations happen, the channels open for spirit transfer. The channels open for the transfer of spiritual realities. So when you come for an impartation service, you must be sensitive because spirits will be moving. Spiritual realities will be moving. Those are the things you want to catch. The channels are not as important as the things communicated. So don't be distracted. Focus, because you will need sensitivity to Catalambano. Spiritual things are caught. They are caught. Help the sister. They are caught. You don't pick them, you catch them. This is why you need to understand the mysteries that govern impartation, so that you don't come under a dense atmosphere and you walk out without carrying something. When we are doing impartation, we are transferring spirits. We are transferring spiritual realities. My life upgraded through impartations. If I tell you the men that have imparted me, you will be shocked. I know the place of study. I know the place of prayer. I know the place of purity. That's why I taught them before. But I also understand impartation. I've followed men for impartation. From Pastor E. Adeboye to Bishop David Oyedepo to Pastor Chris Oyakhilome. I've followed to Benny Hinn to Sadusonda Savaraj. I can call 1,000 names. We didn't come here by chance. People activated things on our inside. I chase impartations because I know it's a shortcut in the spirit. There are things that will take you 20 years to access. A man can just say be blessed and it falls on you. It will make your journey shorter. This is why I begged you in the morning, honor the fathers. You may be more eloquent, you may be more widely traveled, but they are custodians. It will make your journey short. Some of you don't have business being where you are, but you dishonor the carriers of graces. Talking about impartation here, it shifts man. I went to Abuja to start a work, and the Holy Ghost told me, go to Dr. Paul Enenche. The man laid hands on me. I felt like a baby who could not walk. I stood up from there. It was aggressive, the move. It may have taken me 3 years of prayer. It won't stop me from praying, but it gave me an advantage to cover space and time. With transfer spirits. Number 2, mystery of impartation. Impartations only happen where there is honor. Hebrews 7 verse 7. Without any contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. If there is no gradient, there will be no transfer. You know why most of us are where we are? We are too proud. We think we are all the same. In salvation, we are the same because the same price was paid. But in kingdom authority, we are not equal. Don't make any mistake about it. In this kingdom, there are men who can move you forward. by talking. I'm not advocating for human worship. I'm just telling you how spiritual things work. And if you understand it, you'll be glad that you did. If there's no honor, either for God or for the vessels that carry those graces, if they like, they should hug you, pour oil on you, you will not be imparted. I keep telling people that if it's just about proximity, the family members of men of God will be the most anointed. It's not just proximity. Sometimes the sons of preachers never catch the grace because they see them as daddy, and that's all. And the grace that is on their father rests on somebody in another continent, and that person is manifesting that grace and changing his world. Sometimes in the corridor of impartation, we feel so limited. You are begging God to impart your son. God is imparting somebody else. Because it is honor that determines the direction of flow. This is why our generation is struggling. We can't receive our inheritance. One generation shall teach God to another generation. And by implication, one generation shall transfer God to another generation. But when you block it through dishonor, you become stunted. And when that generation goes, it may take you 40 years of laboring in the spirit to qualify for that grace. You can still access it, but it will take you time and waste your possibilities.